World leaders gathered at the Élysée Palace in Paris today for high-level talks. The Taoiseach among those attending the summit hosted by the French President. Emmanuel Macron announced plans for a reassurance force in Ukraine, which he says will act as a security guarantee, adding there will be no substitution for the Ukrainian army.
These reassurance forces would be from a number of states, present in strategic locations pre-identified with Ukrainians, which would provide long-term support, reassurance for the armies, and act as a deterrent to potential Russian aggression.
More than 30 nations were present for today's summit, aimed at reinforcing international support for Kyiv as the conflict enters another critical phase. A key focus was to progress plans on security guarantees for Ukraine after a peace deal with Russia is signed, along with steps around sanctions.
Now is not the time for pulling back or weakening on sanctions. On the contrary, now is the time for increasing sanctions on Russia to get them to the table, to these negotiations, to the hope of a ceasefire and a lasting and secure ceasefire that preserves the security and sovereignty of Ukraine.
Following today's meeting, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described the summit as motivating, saying he believes European leaders will not abandon Ukraine. Despite the peace talks, the attacks continue. In Kharkiv, more than 20 people were injured in mass Russian drone attacks. Officials report several homes, cars and a production facility were damaged. Today's summit in Paris comes at a critical juncture in the more than 3-year war. Aisling Roach, Virgin Media News.